Hello everyone, thank you very much for your support at the Ivy Scholars Cup event this Sunday, September the 30th. In this video, I'm going to go over all the steps that a debate judge has to do for a debate round at the ISC event. If you missed the training we have on Wednesday, I recommend that you go through the whole video to make sure that you master all the steps that you have to do for a debate round. Since we are using a debate score form, not on paper but on laptop, it is important that you get familiar with the forms as well as the steps that you have to do for the debate round. Thank you. First of all, about the gathering information, you need to be at the site 30 minutes before the debate round. So for the morning, we start the debate session at 9. So you need to be there at least at 8:30 a.m. and in the afternoon at 12:30 p.m. because we start at 1 p.m. Our venue is the Canadian International School in Phú Mỹ Hưng area. The gathering point for the debate judges is the indoor stadium. We can also call it the basketball court. In Vietnamese, it is nhà thi đấu. At the gathering point, you are going to receive your name tag and the room number that you are going to be the judge. You will sit in one room for the whole session. The dress code in the morning and in the afternoon when we have the debate sessions, please use your Ivy t-shirt if you have one. If you don't have the Ivy t-shirt already, you will receive the shirt on site. But I recommend that if you have the Ivy t-shirt, please use your own t-shirt because we may not have enough t-shirts for everybody on site. And for those who join the ceremony in the evening, please prepare another set of clothes for really formal dress code. So for example, for men, it's going to be suit. And then for women, it's going to be formal dresses. About the room facility, in the room that you are going to be the judge, you will have a laptop with the debate scoring forms available. Please remember that we are using an online form so that the moment you click submit the score of the two teams during the debate, we as the organizers will receive the score immediately for data process. Then you will have the motions, the debate topics. We have 9 motions in total for 3 rounds. We have round 1, 2, 3 because one team has to debate 3 rounds. And then we have, for each division, we have one different motion for each round. So we have total 9 motions for 3 rounds, and then for each division. We have pre-junior, junior, and senior. In the room, you will also have the rubrics for scoring debate. And then, of course, paper for taking notes. But then this one is very important. The last one is the timer. Because you will be scoring and timing at the same time, I recommend that you use your own phone as a timer. If you don't have your own phone, then you can use the laptop that you have. But then if you have the scoring forms and the timer on your laptop at the same time, it may be confusing for you. So please use your phone if you can. This is some brief information about the division and then the team ID. As I mentioned, we have 3 divisions, the pre-junior, the junior, and the senior. How can you tell the difference between the 3 divisions? In the team ID, the pre-junior will start with 1. For example, we have 1107 or 1201. For the junior, the team ID will start with 2. And then for senior, it's going to be 3. Each team has 3 members, A, B, and C. They have the same team ID, but then the member has to have different student ID. So that's why we have the example of student ID will be ISC, which is Ivy Scholar Cup. And then the team ID, for example, here we have 1107, which is the pre-junior division. And then we have the letter of the member. So we have ISC 1107B. This is the Ivy Scholars Cup debate rubrics. We are judged the debate based on 3 criteria: the presentation, the strategy, and the content. In the presentation, we have 2 criteria to score. We have the speaking and the presence. So in this criteria, the presentation criteria, it is only about the speech and the way the speaker presents himself or herself. So for the speaking part, if she's fluent or if he's clear, then he or she used the tone appropriately in order to emphasize his or her idea, then the speaking would be good. For the presence, if the speaker is confident with hand gestures and eye contact, then that one is a good score for presence. We are not talking about the content of the speaker yet. The second criteria is the strategy. So we have the organization and then the rhetoric. So did the speaker organize her ideas logically? And then did the speaker support her argument? And for rhetorics is ways you use in order to persuade the audience, in order to sell your arguments to the listeners. So what does it mean? It means that the speaker uses tricks here and there in order to emphasize what he's trying to say. We have examples right here. We have metaphor. Everybody knows metaphor. We have inversion. For example, if you just say, we never have something like this in the history, it would be different from you saying, never ever in history have we ever had this. You can see the difference between the 2 sentences, right? So that one is inversion, which means you change the position of some words in your sentence in order to create emphasis. Then we have another example of rhetoric is the group of 3. What does it mean, the group of 3? It is when you use 3 things for every list that you have. For example, I'm just going to make a stupid example, like television is making our personal life, work life, and social life much better. So do you see that we have work life, social life, and personal life? It makes your sentence and idea feel fuller in a way. So a speaker usually uses this technique in order to make his or her sentences full and in a way emphasize his or her argument. We have the next criteria is the content. In the content, we have evidence and rebuttal. Evidence is clear. It means did the speaker use fact, example, data to support his argument. And then for rebuttal, or we can call it counter argument, I think, it means how good did the speaker rebut or refute the arguments of the other team, which also means that your first speaker for the whole debate round will not have the score because he's the first speaker, so he doesn't have anybody to rebut. This means the rebuttal score of this first speaker will be the ability to predict any possible counter arguments or rebuttals from the other team. So if he can actually predict the counter argument from the other team from his first speech, then he would score good in this criteria. And then we also have the 4th criteria, which is teamwork. But this criteria is only used in case of a tie. So after you sum up the score of the 2 teams and then you realize that they have the same score, which is a tie, then you will decide the winning team solely on the criteria of teamwork. So the team that has better teamwork during the debate will win the debate in case of a tie. On the other side of the debate rubrics, you will have the criteria here on the left, and then the score range from 1 to 5. We have detailed description of how you can score a speech here. So for example, we have presentation. You will get 5 points if your speech was clear and fluent with very few pauses, and the speaker was confident with positive poise and body language, eye contact and all. And then for strategy, if you get 2 points, it's about the relevance of your ideas. So some of ideas were irrelevant to the team's premise, and then little rhetoric was used. We have the content. So for example, I'll go with 4 points. Most arguments were supported by evidence. Most rebuttals were accurate, relevant, and strong. So you support your arguments with evidence, and you can refute the other side's argument. That would be best for the content. Please note that for junior, senior, and pre-junior, different divisions will compete against the teams in the same division. So you don't have to worry if you are scoring too harshly for the pre-junior teams. So just score them in the same standard, because they are just going to compete against people in the same division. So you don't have to be nicer for the pre-junior or harsher for the senior. Next, we have the debate format. As I mentioned, we have 3 divisions. For each debate, we are going to have 2 teams, and each team with 3 members. Each team will debate 3 rounds. Please remember, you are the only judge and timer in the room, so make sure that you master every step that you have to do so that you won't be confused during the debate. When one round of debate is done, new batch of 2 teams will get into the room. For the pre-junior, the debate round is 30 minutes, and for junior and senior, it's going to be 40 minutes. The morning and afternoon debate sessions both consist of 2 rounds of debate, which means you will adjudicate for 12 teams for each session. We have the morning session for the pre-junior, it's from 9 to 12, and then for the afternoon, it's going to be 1 to 5. We do the scoring by debate form. I'll show you the pre-junior and the senior here. This is the pre-junior form, and this is the senior form. I'm just going to go over the steps you have to do, and then we'll go back to the forms later on. So here's the flow of the debate. Please remember, you have to follow strictly the debate form. You are not going to say things that are not written in the forms. So you can have a look at the pre-junior form here. Everything is basically the same for the pre-junior and the junior and senior debate forms. The only difference is the time. For example, for the pre-junior, you have 10 minutes to prepare. For the junior and senior, you have 15 minutes to prepare, because the pre-junior has only 2 minutes to speak, but the junior and senior, they will have 3 minutes to speak. That's the only difference. So I'll show you here. So the debate flow, it goes like this. The first step is to set up the debate. And everything you see in quotation mark in the debate form is for speaking out loud. Everything else is for your guidance only. For example, I have here, you will see this one in quotation mark. It means you have to speak it out loud. So after you welcome them and you talk something about the time, then you will randomly pick the affirmative team and the negative team. So you have it here, introduction speech, and then affirmative and negative teams picking. Then you ask for the round number because different round number will have different motion. Please remember that. Then you ask for their team number so that you can input in the form. We choose the correct motion according to the round and the division. You hand out the motion for the two teams. Remember to get it back after they finish because the debate topic is confidential. And then the speakers will start to prepare and then speak. So for each speaker, you will ask for the speaker's letter so that we can know who is who. The debate and scoring step is like this. The affirmative speaker won first, and then we have 60 seconds for discussion, which is also the time for you to score the first speaker. Then we have the first guy from the negative team, and then discussion. And then the second guy from affirmative, discussion. Second guy from a negative, discussion. The third guy for affirmative, discussion. And then the last person for the whole debate is the negative speaker number 3. After the speeches and the scoring, then it's the time for the two teams to give feedback to each other. The judges are not allowed to give any feedback at all. So even when you are asked questions, which is likely to happen, you are not allowed to give any feedback. The two teams will have 60 seconds to prepare the feedback, and then 60 seconds for negative team to give feedback to the affirmative team, and 60 seconds for vice versa. These 3 minutes is very precious because this is a time for you to sum up the score of the two teams to decide the winner. Even though you are using the forms to input the scores of the two team speakers, the form does not help you to sum up the score. We are sorry about this, even though as organizer, when we receive your data, when we receive the score of the speaker, when you click submit on the form, we will know right away who's the winner and who's the lollipop team. But you in the room with the form, you won't be able to see that. So that's why you have to do the summing up the score by yourself. You can use a calculator or you can do it by hand. But make sure that you are doing an accurate job because the moment you announce the winner, you cannot take it back. So after summing up the scores, you will announce the winner. If there's a tie, based on the teamwork criteria to decide the winning team. And then no explanation is allowed. When you guys are finished for one round, please ask the students to move on. Even when the students are crying, which may be happening for little kids, please make sure that you don't give any explanation at all. Because as you know, when you start to explain, it will never stop. Okay, and here's the form for the junior and senior division. Again, the pre-junior form is the same in every way, except for the times that they have to prepare and then the time for the speeches. So I'll go over every step so that you can have a big picture of what you have to do as a debate judge. First of all, we have the introduction. Again, you will read everything in quotation mark. So it's the whole thing here. Then you will pick the team randomly. And then we have, again, quotation. What is your round number? You have the round number here. And then we have, what is affirmative team? What is your team number? And then you have affirmative team number. And then negative team, what is your team number? And then you fill in it here. Today's motion is, you choose from the list of motions that we have. You have 15 minutes starting now. So as you can see here, it's in quotation mark. But this one is for your guidance. You will have to hand out the motions, one for each team, and then you set the timer to 15 minutes. It's going to be 10 minutes for the pre-junior. So we always include the number of minutes here so that you can remember it right away. Then after 15 minutes, we have time is up. Speaker 1 for the affirmative team, what is your student ID letter? And then we have the first speaker, A, B, C. After you have the speaker's letter, you will let him or her speak. Thank you, please approach to the front of the room, introduce yourself and begin. You have 3 minutes, count it from now. And then you have to start the timer. Remember, you knock once when we have only 1 minute left, twice when she's out of time. So after 3 minutes of speaking, you thank you. Teams, you have 60 seconds to prepare before I call up the next speaker. So this is the time, the 60 seconds, for you to use to score the previous speaker. So you can go this, or that, for example. You have only 60 seconds to do this. So please be fast and don't wait until the end of the debate to score the speakers, because you won't be able to remember anything and you won't have enough time to sum up the scores. And then we have time is up, the 60 seconds of preparation. And then the first guy from the negative team will start. It will stay the same for the second guy of affirmative here. And then we go until we have the negative team speaker number 3. After you finish scoring the previous within 60 seconds, then will you go? Before I announce the winner, each team must give up 60 seconds of feedback, and then this is the time they will prepare the feedback. Remember, you also have to time this 60 seconds. And with 60 seconds, you sum up the score. And then the next 60 seconds, you give the negative team to do the feedback. Remember, you have to time this too. And then after 60 seconds, you stop them, and then the affirmative team will give feedback. Remember, whenever they're giving feedback to each other, you don't really have to listen. Your job is to sum up the score. So double check your calculation. If there's a tie, use the criteria of the teamwork. And then you will announce the winner. Do not give reasons and do not choose the best speakers. And then you click here, which one is the winner, and then you click submit. You will get to the next form. It will repeat everything. So this is a wrap up of the time for each division. So we have for the pre-junior, preparation is 10 minutes. Speech for one speaker is 2 minutes, while in the junior and senior it's going to be 15 minutes for preparation and 3 minutes for speeches. The interval, the discussion between the speeches is 1 minute for both, for 3 divisions, 1 minute all. Then we have 5 intervals between the 6 speakers. And then we have the feedback part. We have one preparation, 60 seconds, and then the 2 teams giving feedback to each other, another 60 seconds and 60 seconds. So in total, we have 3 minutes for each division. In total, for the pre-junior, it's around 30 minutes, and for the junior and senior, it's around 40 minutes. You need to know that our schedule is tight. So following strictly the form and the time schedule is very crucial. We have 3 topics for our whole competition, and we use these topics for our debate too. We have science of personality, which is about all the personality tests that people usually use in interviews, in choosing their career. The second topic is challenges in the new millennium. So we have, for example, we have globalization. It can be good or it can have dire consequences like environment problems. The third topic is a literary hero's journeys. What is it? So it's the journeys for those classics that we read when we were children. For example, we have Harry Potter, we have The Lord of the Rings, and then a little bit more complicated, we have The Great Gatsby, we have Moby Dick, and then we also have the heroes in movies, which is so familiar with the students nowadays. We have Marvel, we have DC, we have Superman, Batman. Some of you might be unfamiliar with one of the three topics. So that's why on at the event we are going to prepare and give you a short guideline before the debate round start. When you have the motions ready, and then you will have also the guideline for the motions. After the debate round, then please go back to your gathering point to return your name tag and also the t-shirt. We're sorry that we cannot give you the t-shirt because it's quite a few people joining the event. And then you will get the payment, which is, I have to say, so little. um and but then the important thing is our gratitude. Thank you so much for giving us the support in such short notice again. So again, thank you very much.